Here we go. Good evening, everybody. Thank you all for joining us. We're very excited to have with us Yossi Rapoport, who's going to tell us about where he spent Pesach. Where did he recline, eat maror and matzah? And it was not in Chicago, wasn't in the United States, wasn't next year in Jerusalem. It was this year in Nigeria. So first of all, thank you so much for joining us. Really appreciate you spending some time with us and sharing your experience. Let's get started. How in the world did you wind up in Nigeria for Pesach?
So there's a organization in New York, in Crown Heights, called Mercus, which one of the branches of the organization communicates between different communities in the world and different Chabad rabbis that during the busy season of Pesach could use some more staff, some more yeshiva bachrim. So I applied to this organization in New York that I'm available to help out somewhere for Pesach. And besides for Chabad rabbis that are looking for additional staff for Pesach, there's also cities which don't have Chabad rabbis. That the community could be not big enough to support them, and there's not enough to do a whole year. So they send bachrim to those places. So it's not my first year actually. My last year I was in California. And then before COVID, I was in Ukraine for a Pesach. And before that, I was in Guatemala for a Pesach.
Oh boy.
But tonight's topic is Nigeria. So I'll try to stick to Nigeria. So I applied with my chavrusa, my study partner, to go together. He's actually from South Africa.
Mm-hmm.
So he requested in the comments to go somewhere in that area of the world. That way we could, he wouldn't have to travel that much back home. So that's pretty much, they landed us there because we speak English and it was the correct age and the correct conditions matched up.
So how many people came to your Seder in Nigeria?
So the community in Nigeria is interesting. There's not really locals that are Jewish. The people that are Jewish is Israelis actually, which the Nigerian government, I'm pretty sure they have a lot of oil in Nigeria. And so therefore they have money, and they bring down people from other countries to be the brains and the engineering of the highways, the bridges, all the big infrastructure. I guess there's not enough universities and education there to, raise people that can do that. So they bring from outer countries, a lot of them from Israel, which is not too far away, and it's a good job opportunity. I would say there's about probably between 300 and 400 Israelis that were in the city we lived, Abuja. Wow. So they're running these companies. So Pesach time, a lot of them go back to Israel. A lot of them stay there. So we had 3 Seders actually. One we did in the Chabad Center. Maybe I could pull up a picture. Am I able to?
Yeah. We may do co-host. Sure, please.
Share my screen. Okay. Could everyone see my screen?
So far, so yeah, we go.
Okay, so this is the Chabad. This is the synagogue where the Chabad is in Abuja. The shul. It's actually pretty crazy. Just a side point for a second. There's not the electricity and the water isn't ran normally over there. So there's a generator, which that's how they get electricity for the center. And there's a big water tank. And they fill up water in the tank during when the water is working, and then water goes off, they have supply for later. So back to our Seders. One Seder was over here in this room. The other Seder was in one of the companies. So here, I could show you a picture. We'll get there in a second. The companies, the government supplies them with a big, like a complex to live in. Nigeria isn't that safe. Maybe we talk about it a little later. So in this complex, there's security, and they put all the Israelis together. As you can see more now. They put them all in the apartment building there, and they have a nice outdoor area with a pool. And the Israelis themselves arrange a Seder for those that live in the complex. The Chabad Rebbe helps out, but it's mainly them. So we went to one of those places to help run the Seder with those Israelis that were there.
Okay, so you're running a Seder, you're in Nigeria. Where do you get matzah? Where do you get maror? I mean, there's not a jewel there or a koltuv. I mean, where do you get the basic, distinctively Jewish supplies that you need for the Seder?
So I'll describe to you our departure from Crown Heights. Before we leave to the airport, the shliach who lives there. He wasn't there then because he just had a baby, like 2 days before Pesach in France, where he's originally from. I guess the hospitals aren't great in Nigeria. So we were there ourselves, actually. But he sent us a whole list, a shopping list of things. We brought yogurts and hot dogs and matzo ball mix. We're 6 bachrim going. Each of us were allowed to bring 2 suitcases plus the carry-on. They were loaded with yogurts and hot dogs because for the shliachs, the rabbi's kids, they don't have yogurt a whole year. They don't have visitors a whole year. So when could you get kosher hot dogs? So we loaded our suitcases with matzah, wine, all that stuff. We actually got to the airport. The suitcases were way overweight. It was an exciting scene trying to figure out how to get those even more overweight than you could pay for overweight.
People tell me
so we
that
brought
about
most of that
myself all
stuff.
the time.
Missed that?
I said, I have the same problem myself. I'm overweight more than I should be overweight that you could pay for, but that's another story. Okay, so you get there, loaded down, but can you bring enough for everybody in Nigeria? Enough matzah, enough wine, enough gefilte fish?
So it's actually not just that, also meat, kosher meat and chicken. How do they get that?
And marrow, where do you get marrow? Is it like grow in Nigeria? Do they have a Greek
The lettuce
there?
they have in Nigeria doesn't taste like American lettuce. One of the things I had to get used to was all the vegetables taste a little different. But also, it's really cool is the ambassador of Nigeria is the Israeli ambassador is an English guy who's used to live in Israel, very friendly, very great guy. And I think there's no customs for diplomats. So with him being a good Chevroman, I don't know how to say Chevroman in English, he arranged to ship in matzah, frozen chicken, and meat from South Africa, a lot. I think it was 12,000 pounds of chicken and meat.
Oh my gosh.
They bought tons of chest freezers lined up to stuff them all up with chicken and meat for a lot of the year. And because of him, he's able to bring it into the country.
And then who cooks everything? You have chefs there, you have cooks, you cook this?
So labor is not very expensive. So there's a lot of help there. With just in the Chabad place itself, there was, a few security personnel, like 3 people in the kitchen. People get paid a couple dollars for the day. That's the going rate.
Mm-hmm. So you arrived when? Pesach was Friday night. When did you arrive in Nigeria?
We came on a Wednesday.
And how long? When did you leave? Let's start with how long a flight is that?
We flew through Turkey. So it's about a 9.5-hour flight from New York, JFK to Turkey. And we had a few hour stopover. And then we had about a 6-hour flight to Nigeria.
Oh my gosh. Okay. And when you land in the airport in Nigeria, does it look like sort of like a civilized airport, or is it also like some sort of third world country?
It looks civilized, but all the lights are blinking.
You didn't bring light bulbs, eh?
Nope. Wouldn't be enough anyways.
So you arrived Wednesday. Friday night is the Seder. And then they said there's 6 of you, and you said 3 different locations?
Yeah.
Okay, so how do people find out about this? How does this sort of, they just spontaneously show up? They know about it. There's some sort of analogy. How does the word get out that there's going to be a Seder in Nigeria?
So the 2 Seders that happened in the complex, one was called RCC, one was called SCC. I guess the biggest macher in the complex invited everyone to come, and they set up outside in the courtyard. It was quite clear. It was set up beautifully. Looked like, with flowers and wine and beautiful tablecloths and nice cutlery. So I guess everyone knew to come to that Seder. And the one in the Chabad Center, he himself the rabbi invites all the people that don't have a place to go, or the handful of local Jewish people and diplomats.
So what is a Jewish person doing besides this group of Israelis who live in this complex who come there? What else would prompt someone to live in Nigeria?
Let's see if I have a picture of that. I do. Okay.
Good. Let's see.
Here we go. Share my screen. This one. Let me know if you can see it.
We see. It looks
okay.
like
So
B'dikas Chametz.
Yes. So this was Thursday night. Wednesday night we came. Thursday night we had a B'dikas Chametz, looking for the Chametz. So we were joined by 2. These are both American young Jewish men who served in the Israeli army, volunteered. Followed that, they did some security work in Israel, and now they are training the Nigerian army.
Oh wow!
So they're about 3-hour drive away in this like random hot place. where they could do all their exercises. And both of them were snipers in the Israeli army. And so they were training. So we found out they're there. We called them up and we invited them to join us for B'tikas Chametz. We figured, let's get to know them before Pesach. And then we'll take it from there. They came and we looked for the chametz together. And every time we found a little chametz, we danced. And then we had a meal together afterwards. And we brains for a while. We spoke stories and we heard about where they're from and their Jewish background. And then they came back for the Seder night. So most of the people is, a story here, a story there.
Are there any Jews who sort of just live in Nigeria, or they're only there on some sort of temporary assignment?
95% temporary assignments. Here and there, we had a little, someone happens to live here. He says he's a farmer. It just seems a little strange.
So you are in Nigeria. Pardon me, you're in Nigeria. You said last year you were in Guatemala. You've been in Ukraine. How does your family feel about you being away for Pesach? We always think about Pesach. Everybody comes home, everything family, kids ask the 4 questions, cousins, everything. How does it sit with your family that you are so far away?
My mother was never excited about it. Still not excited about it.
That's a long way to go to get out of cleaning for Pesach.
Thank God, though, I have a bunch of siblings that are home, some Bachrim and some girls, so they're able to help out with all the prep that they need. And then missing me, I came for the second days. I always do that, and
So
I usually make it up
in the
with
middle
coming.
of Pesach.
Yeah, I come back in middle on Chol HaMoed, and I usually make it up with coming for another Shabbos here and there, extra one, to save up points so I can miss the first days of Pesach.
So did you get to do any touring? Did you get to see Nigeria? What is the country like?
So a little bit. We did. I was there for 2 days of Chol HaMoed. I flew back on Tuesday evening. Yom Tov was, I think, Shabbos Sunday. So I was there for Monday and Tuesday. So Monday we went to the real Nigeria. Abuja, where the city I was in, is the capital. So sometimes you could almost close one eye and you'll think you're in America. The roads are paved. There's a shop right. It looked pretty normal. There was a mall that looked pretty normal. But then you go to the outskirts of the city and you find real third world country, where you really see starving kids in Africa. You actually can see that.
Maybe.
So we brought food. We brought rice, 20 bags of rice and bottles of oil and bags of treats. And we went to a random village where one of the drivers knew where to go. And they obviously have done this before because they knew what to do. The language there is officially English, but it's without education. So I didn't understand the word. The driver was communicating from English to the other English. And they made they all lined up, all the mothers knew to line up ready. And we gave them all a big bag of rice for the family. And all the kids lined up in another line.
They eat rice on Pesach. They're Spartan.
I guess, yes. The Nigerian people.
So that's beautiful. So you brought this rice just to give out, not to the Jewish people, just to the local people who live in Nigeria. You got any pictures of that? That was up there. Oh, there we go. Can you highlight that picture? That's a great picture. Can we get that? There you go. So what town is this? Let's play ball. I like his shirt. Let's play ball. That's cute. So where is this? This is some random village?
Yeah, I don't know where it is. I wasn't able to follow directions. But the driver, it was about 40-minute drive from the Chabad house, out of the city. We were there for about probably 2 hours, and we sung songs with them. You could see a little clapping in the picture, and we played a little tag, and we gave out the food, and then they gave us a tour of their village. I think I have another picture yet. I tried out one of their ovens to see if it works, their stoves.
There you go. So we had Bishul Yisrael rice there, huh?
Bishul Yisrael rice on Pesach for Sfardim only.
Crazy. So that's crazy. Wow. So that's 40 minutes out. So there you go. That's the bags of rice. Where did you get that rice from?
The driver went to the store to pick it up for us in one of the markets.
Okay. And the guy in the green uniform, is he with you or he's stationed there? What's his story?
Yeah. His name is Daniel. We took him wherever we went with us. To avoid just in case any chaos happens, even over here a little bit, some the teenage boys came over, 1 second, why aren't we getting? We wanted the more, got a little, little arguing. So he was able to settle that.
Okay, good. So he felt safe.
He came around with his machine gun.
Is he a local Nigerian soldier?
Yeah, he is. but he's been working for the Israeli embassy for 5 years, and then for the Chabad rabbi for 5 years.
So he's like hired privately. Who is the Chabad rabbi that's usually there? What's his name?
His name is Rabbi Uzan, and
Okay.
he and his wife are originally from France.
And how long has he been in Nigeria?
He's there for 9 years.
Oh my gosh. Okay, so share with us maybe a story or two or something that made an impact on you. We see the impact you made on them, not only on the Jewish people who you made the Seder for, but this beautiful shot of you going around and distributing rice to these strangers, these children who you don't know. What's your takeaway from Pesach in Nigeria?
So probably the thing that was the most powerful was before Pesach, which this was on Thursday. We landed Wednesday night, so Thursday day. So we had extra time because most of the prep was already done. The Chabad rabbi arranged it before he left, and they had the cook pretty much arranging the food. And the Seders we were running, some of them were being hosted by the complex. So we didn't have any prep. We just showed up and, we gave them the matzah ball mix that we brought from New York before. So Thursday, we went around to visit the Jewish people, to find Israelis, and to sell their chametz with them, and to put on tefillin. So we went to this main yard where they have, all these machinery, and there's people working, tons of people, working on different garages. And we go to one office and we're looking for Yossi. We heard the Jewish guy is Yossi. So we're asking, where's Yossi? And everyone's like pointing to the next place. We walk up the steps to an office, and then through that office, another door. And after like a few offices, we find the back office. We come inside and let's see here.
You found Yossi.
Here he is.
There's Yossi.
We found Yossi. And like you think he's like lost in Nigeria, a different country. There's no one Jewish around. And we come with our tefillin. He's just so happy to do it. And you see like his face is shining from connecting back with his roots and doing a mitzvah again. He's just so happy. It was an incredible impact. Unbelievable.
Wow. Amazing. That's cool. That is cool. So you got there on Wednesday. You make the 2 Seders. I'm assuming you guys were the ones who had to lead the Seder and the 4 questions and teach everybody about leaning to the left. You were able to get all those supplies. And then you got to go around. You got to see that local community that we saw. And then you came back. And did you fly back through Turkey as well?
I flew back through Turkey at about a 5-hour stopover. And then I got back on Wednesday evening here in New York.
Amazing. So what would be your sort of number one takeaway from all these experiences, Guatemala, Nigeria? I mean, how has this affected you? We think about Pesach as being home and sitting with the family and singing Dayenu. What's your sort of takeaway at a personal level? What do you think you learned the most from these rather unique experiences, I would say?
We sung like the classic Vihi Shamda by our Seder, for example. Like I'm not from Israel. I don't know the Israeli songs. Like we tried. We did the Dayenu, everyone knew. Vihi Shamda, everyone knew. Wherever you go, the regular Judaism, you just find it everywhere. It's all the same. Like I wasn't with my family yet, but like as soon as we're singing Dayenu, Dayenu, I'm back at home. I close my eyes. I'm sitting with 50 or with 45 plus a couple other guests which weren't from Israel. But I say they're all singing Dayenu outside in the dark by this outdoor pool.
So wherever you go, you're home. Beautiful. That's a beautiful story. Okay, well, Yossi, thank you so much for spending this time with us. If anyone wants to jump in, unmute yourself when you have a question or comment. We'd love to hear it, but we really appreciate you spending this time with us and sharing what it's like to spend Pesach in Nigeria. And like you said, to find Jews in that little vignette, but how you understood that you were a guest in a country and that you should be concerned, as the Rebbe always taught us, not only for our close friends and Jews and so on, but that we have a responsibility to the entire world. And you're taking that responsibility and fulfilling it is really, really a beautiful, beautiful way. So we thank the Kite and Dart Group for posting the transcript. Thank you. Reminder, tomorrow night, 8:30 for Mimer. Everybody's, of course, welcome and invited. And Yossi, thank you for sharing your time with us. Thank you for sharing your story. Really a beautiful one. And Hatzlacha Rabbah to you. And maybe we'll have you back next year after the next port of call that you spend your Pesach at. So good night, everybody. Yeah, we got a question. Hold on.
Yeah,
Where's
Yossi.
Mel?
That's the first time I ever heard anyone say he translated our English to their English. It's English, but it's so difficult you would have to have a translator.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Okay, so you were able to understand it.
Wow.
Beautiful.
And
You're
the
an amazing
Chabad
guy.
rabbis from France, his French, very heavy French accent, when he speaks to the workers in the Chabad, was also like a translator I needed to hear. I didn't understand how, I don't hear a word was going on. Yeah, it was pretty cool.
Pretty cool. Wow. So thank you, Yasher Koach. What a beautiful story, and what a beautiful way to see the true unity of the Jewish people, that wherever you are, everybody eats matzah, sings Dayenu, and celebrates the Yitzias Mitzrayim. And that story about you going around to the kids there and singing with them and dancing and giving them the rice and so on. That's really a beautiful illustration of the Rebbe's concern, literally, for all of humanity. So Yasher Koach to you. Thank you for sharing your story. I'll send out the recording. We'll see you tomorrow night, 8:30 for Mimer. Good night, everybody. Good night, Yossi.
Good night.
Thank you.
Good night.
Good night.
Good night.
Thank you.